we have decided that we're going to try to move these programs along so that we'll have time at the end of the competition for some of the artists to speak about their images, because I think we'll all find that, I mean, I have lots of questions already, and I'm sure you guys do too. So we're going to try to get started quickly now. Officers, do we have any announcements to make?
Patty has her hand up.
Oh, no, I was just adjusting my light.
Oh,
I can't get my light right.
I actually do have something to add, a value that's relevant to the club.
Well, thank you, Josh. And now moving on.
Is Patty Mitchell on? I don't see her. Don't see her. Okay, so Patty Mitchell and I had some contact this week from Roanoke Arts Council, and it looks like we're going to be trying to put together a very large print show at the Jester Annex in Round Rock. I've kind of alluded to it in the past, but we're talking maybe like 80 to 100 pieces. We'll have more details, but I just want y'all to start planning on thinking about it. But it's going to be a big show. So,
is there a theme?
I don't think so. I don't think as of right now. No. I think it's just the theme is North Austin Photographic Society. How about that? But we'll get more into it as we get more details from them. We're still trying to figure out exactly when. But right now they told us summer of 2021. My thought is to have it open if you have like a series or a thematic like group of photos that could work. And then we'll have like some singles as well. We're literally still in talks with them, but I just wanted to give you a heads up to start maybe getting photos in mind that you might want to print or display, because we're going to have room for lots of photos, depending on how much space they end up giving us for that month. So
our next meeting in 2 weeks is going to be given by the good people at Luminar, and they're going to be talking about their software products. I heard a rumor that there might be a prize. Certainly there will be, I'm sure, offers of discounts for their software if you are interested. So attend, it'll be worthwhile. I want to make one shout out. As you know, we recently had a landscape competition that was judged by, Linda. Now I'm blanking on her name. That's terrible.
Nickel.
Linda Nichols, thank you. Linda Nickel, Nickell. And first of all, I'm very grateful. We are very grateful to her for having put out the time, because she did put out a lot of time on it. Gave critiques on the top 12, 14 images. She has her own website, and I'm not going to say much more except it's lindanickel.com. We'll put it in the show notes or something. We'll get that message out. But every Wednesday night, she has an interview with somebody in the photography world. So I went to one of those, found it very interesting. You can go to her website, her YouTube channel, and they're all recorded there like ours are. There's lots of interesting stuff there. So I just wanted to make people aware of that.
And she sometimes does it on Thursday.
Yeah, last week she had 2. I don't know about tonight, this week.
But she has to schedule out in advance on her website.
Okay, anybody else got anything to say before we get started? Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to find this. Share. Well, so far, so good. All right. Show. Tonight's theme is open, so we have lots of different ones. Let's see. We need to go to.
Talk about it. Okay, too, Mom. What? I didn't ask for a drink here. What?
Okay, so we're going to start with the basic category. First of all, thanks to our judges this week. We have Josh Baker, who some of you know. Haytham Samarchi is taking his first shot at this, I believe.
Yeah.
And Patty. Patty, I get stage fright and immediately I'm blanking on last name. So
Robertson.
Robertson, thank you. I've only seen it 20 times in the last week, and that's what happens when you get old. So I hope I don't dissuade too many of you from getting older. All right, so go to the first group is the open group, the basic group in the open category. And got my prize. Let me get my list. Let me just hang on 1 second. Put up a I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. Okay. So got my prize, great gray owl, perfect date, time for hunting. It's too long. Stillness. Borasek butt. Waiting for spring. Water play at dusk. Pelicans in flight. Eric in profile. Snow day. Off into the sunset. Best buddies. Chickadee amidst the flurries. Wrinkles of time. Spread your wings. Okay. So we're going to have the judges commenting on these. And what happened to my, are you guys getting a black screen now?
No.
No, just faded out hummingbird.
Yeah, okay. I lost my, there we go. All right. So now we'll go back through them again with, we're going to have comments from the judges on 9 of these images. Okay, this one does not have oral commentary. Okay, stillness.
That's one of mine.
Patty's going to talk about this.
Let me just preface my comments with this about judging. I thought it was a great experience. And what mainly I was looking for was the photographer's use of the differentials, light, space, and time. So the photographs that strive to use those, I rated the highest. But I did notice there was a lot of different types of photographers that were submitting all different types of photography. And I made a list. I hope I didn't leave any of them out. Portraits, landscapes, macro, fine art, wildlife, stills, travel, and architecture. So what I noticed is that some of the photographs were concerned mainly with content and some displayed extraordinary amount of structure to them. But I think it's tough for one photographer to say you should have done this or that. I think it's even harder to listen to the judges talk about your photograph in a way that you didn't intend it to be seen. But I had a tendency to use high scores for the images because I think you, the photographer, knows what you're trying to achieve. And I think these scores ultimately in no way reflect the amount of work you put into the photograph. So having said that, The first one is stillness. And let me pull up my critique for that. And I think we're hearing somebody else there that hasn't muted their microphone. Okay. I think this conveys a good story. It instills an emotional reaction. It's sharp in the critical areas that adds to the impact. It's got a strong composition. Shooting, it's a shot in the fog, which is difficult, but I love it. I love shots in the fog. The focus is clearly on the stacked wood. And I'm just kind of wondering what that wood is doing out there. I think I've seen that in other photographs too. Is that Mills Pond by any chance? It's some pond or lake that I've seen in other photographs. I'm wondering what it would look like if you took the radial brush to the wood just to maybe brighten it up a little bit. Maybe that's not what you intended. I do like the foggy background. If it were me, I would probably maybe take out some of those little white dots. I don't know if you can see those on the small screen, but when you blow it up, there's some little white dots in the trees, and maybe take that dock down a little bit. I can't tell if the horizon needs straightening. As possible. It might need to be raised slightly on the right, just ever so slightly. But other than that, great job, well done. Congratulations, author.
Thank you. Okay, next is Bora Sek. I missed that last word again.
Quote.
Koet, K-K-O-E-T.
Yes.
Somebody, that's going to be another one of my questions when we get through this. This one is Haytham's.
Okay, so this is my first time judging for this club. I've judged in other clubs. I would like to make one comment, and that is critiques and feedbacks are personal and subjective, and by no means are the final word on any image. If an image is special and to the photographer, and that's what he or she like, then that's all that matters. This is just one person's perspective on what I felt and saw when I saw the image. So with that, let me proceed. So this is a colorful arrangement of flowers giving the feeling of spring. The flowers in the middle have good focus with good exposure. The background is slightly blurred, providing some subject isolation, but can be improved with further reduction in depth of field, meaning you can see still some details even though it's blurred. I think a proper setting of the black and white points could improve overall image contrast of what we have over here. In my opinion, a square crop would focus on the three bright flowers, would enhance the composition and subject presentation, and remove some of the clutter that's on the edge, especially on the left-hand side. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Next is stillness. Nope, we did that. Next is waiting for spring, excuse me, Josh.
Hey, before Mark play Josh out music, let me just say how I judge real quick. I judge a lot, but if you haven't heard me say this, I judge photos based on what they present to me. So if I'm watching a movie and I think it's a comedy, I judge it on how funny it is. If I'm watching a movie and it's supposed to be a horror scary movie, I judge it based on how scary and jumpy I get, right? So for photos, I judge based on what's presented and then how well do they execute that presentation, right? So anyway, that's just a quick little anecdote for how I judge, but I really like this waiting for spring here. It's soft. And I think with digital, it's so easy to go crispy, and it would be so easy to take that texture and amp it up. But this kind of went the other way. It kind of went soft and blowy. You can almost feel like a breeze coming through. You can feel that sunlight warming coming through. And so I just really like how it had that texture and feel, right? It's a very focused image. It's not a field. It's, a square foot. And so I really like that. I also think the color contrast, I love good color contrast, and we have that good yellow gold versus kind of that green gold acting as contrast. And then we have a strong vertical on the left. Are some of the highlights maybe a little hot? Yeah, but I don't think it takes away from the photo. So I think what it did is just portray that breeze, that soft, that little bit of wisp. Like some of it's sharp and some of it just has a little bit of motion to it. And to me, that's kind of the selling point. Where it would have been easy to drag a slider and jack up the clarity, this one showed restraint. So yeah, that's good. I really liked it. I love the mood that it provided.
Okay. Next is water play at dusk. And Patty, you're up again.
Yeah, I really like this photograph. I think it's got a great use of using the light differentials to obtain the silhouette. And it's got great layering with the main subject, and then you've got the subjects in the back and in the middle layer, and then the enormous sky in the background. The only thing, I love the sky, but I'm wondering, and I realize, I know why you kept it in because it's a fabulous looking sky. I'm wondering about the big hot spot, and how would you take that down? Would you bring the crop down a little bit, take out some of the sky? Would you take it all out, some of it? I'm not sure, but it's just a suggestion. But I love the photograph. Great job.
Okay. Next is pelicans in flight. And no comments on that one. Eric in profile. Josh.
Yeah, so I think this is a good example of like what I think a photo was trying to do. I don't know what was in the photographer's mind when they made this photo, so I'm just guessing on what I was given. And to me, the cool part of this photo is the reflection in the sunglasses. If you look close, you can see a guy isolated, Eric, I'm guessing, and then Eric's friends or family is reflected in the crowd. And so to me, that's the key point to focus on. And then how can we use the supporting cast to tell that story, right? And so for me, I would have moved his head away from I guess it's a bounce house, because, right, that's our backdrop. And so if we could have moved it around to where it was just the green, right? If we swing that camera around a little bit, I think that would be a little better. Also, I was looking at the camera settings. I love, please submit your metadata. It makes it more fun for the judge to be able to see like what you were shooting at. And I use that a lot when it's saved in the photo. So just, if you can, save the metadata so we can see it, because I think it's useful to know. But this was shot at like 4,000 ISO outside, and it didn't need to be. And normally I don't care about ISO really at all, but I think in this case, it kind of made the skin splotchy and kind of the face. I think that's from the ISO of the camera. So just, it's where the technical can help inform the rest of the photo. Otherwise, I don't care about ISO. But for me, I would punch in way a whole lot more, because I think the interesting part, right, is that shot in the matrix, right? The red pill, blue pill. That's kind of what this is going for. So really get close and either move closer or zoom in more, or both. But to me, the interesting part of the photo is that middle 5%, and just do away with the rest. Otherwise the contrast is kind of all over the place. The sun's overhead, and so we get that dark in the eyes. But yeah, just swing around that camera, get closer. So it's just a green background, just the eye. And I think you'd have, that next level photo.
Cool. Snow day. No comment. Off into the sunset. Haytham.
Okay, so this is a very colorful capture of the sunset sky. The clouds form leading lines towards the setting sun and draw the eye in that direction. You know that that's where the photographer wants the eye to go. The airplane position follows rule of thirds and is pointing towards the sun. So the whole composition convey forward movement and a positive feeling. You know, something that's good happening going into the direction of the sun. Overall, I think the exposure is a bit dark, which can be improved by properly setting the white point in post-processing. All elements of the image seem out of focus, including the airplane. The maker may want to sharpen the airplane in post just to add focus, and because otherwise the whole thing looks kind of blurry. Otherwise, it's a good feeling image.
Okay. Best buddies. Chickadee amidst the flurries. Patty.
Mute. We can't hear you, Patty.
Patty, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that.
Hey.
This is a magical capture of a chickadee on the snow day. Just a beautiful, beautiful photograph. What I would think about doing, and you might try this. I'm not saying that's absolute, but just in my opinion, I'm wondering if you would take it in on the left and take it in from the bottom and focus more, put the bird not exactly in the middle of the photograph, but you could still have the snowflakes and you could still get a sense of the wintry day that you took it on. So maybe a little cropping might add something to it. But other than that, I think it's a beautiful shot. Good job. Oh, there's one other thing I would add. I can't see the eye very well. And I'm wondering if you could maybe brighten up that eye a little bit, just a pinch. But love the shot. Great job.
Okay, thanks. Wrinkles of time. Haytham. You're muted, Haytham.
Mute.
Sorry. So I struggled a little bit with this photo. It's an interesting close-up image of a rusted lettering, assumed off of an automobile or something. Maker was successful in capturing the details of rusted paint, cracks, and conveying the passage of time message. So that came clear with the upper portion of the image. The image is well exposed, but the white point could be improved. The background provides good isolation of the subject, but I think the bottom light blue strip is distracting, and I think probably can be removed without taking away from the image. I also think the left part of the image seems a bit soft. I think somehow, even though this is a planar subject, somehow the center of the image is in focus and the rest is not. Maybe it can be corrected in post, maybe not, but it's an observation. It's a bit distracting. That's all I have.
Okay. Spread your wings, and Josh.
Yeah. Hummingbirds have always been special. They were one of my grandmother's favorite birds. So anytime I see a good hummingbird photo, I'm always kind of reminded of my grandfather. So if you knew that about me, bonus points for selecting a photo for the judge. I think this photo was flashed as well. Judging by a couple things. Again, I saw the metadata on this one, and a couple things. One, it was shot at f/22 at ISO 400, which means it could have also been done at ISO 100. What, like f8, f11, somewhere in there. So I don't think this showed up in this photo as far as diffraction, but it's not more is better. It's kind of a bell curve for lens apertures. So just something to think about. I don't think it affected this photo, but I just wanted to talk about it real quick. But most modern digital cameras and lenses like f8, f11, after that, you start getting diminishing returns in sharpness and detail. Anyway, but because of the settings, I think it was used with a strobe, but that also created some other problems. So I think the exposure on the Hummingbird itself is good. But what I think is kind of harsh is the pink and the flowers are just overcooked. And so my eye keeps going to the flower and not to the really like beautiful hummingbird in flight. And so if we could kind of reverse those where the hummingbird is slightly brighter and those flowers are slightly darker. But I think the problem is because the flash was coming from that direction, that they got either backlit strongly or something where there's a lot of light coming through the flower and it kind of nuked it before it got to the bird. So it's the brightest thing. And so, right, we have to be magicians and use the brightest thing as the point that we want to tell our viewer what to see. And in this case, our eyes are going to the top left instead of to the center of the photo where we want it to go. So just kind of pay attention to those type of things. Also, I think the right-hand side, there's just a lot of empty green space that I don't think is really serving the photo. So either a square crop could have worked or just pull in from the lower right and kind of come up to the center. But there's quite a bit of space that doesn't really serve, right? It doesn't need to be there. There's no action going into that negative space. And so that cropping it's always kind of one of my things, just finding that right crop for the subject. But yeah, just be careful about overblowing highlights because that kind of takes away from a really cool photo otherwise.
Okay, and that concludes the basic category. So we'll see how the judges ruled.
With an iron fist. No.
Actually, it should be judges' selections. Okay. Okay, honorable mention, Dennis Eisenberg for Water Play at Dusk.
I love that composition.
Third place, Chickadee Amidst the Flurries, Donna Smith.
Nice.
Gorgeous. Pelicans in Flight, second place, Donna Smith again. Great
This was a
capture.
basic photo. Damn.
Yeah.
This whole basic category, right? Like this one, like any of these are like, all right, well, they're all really good.
And Clay Laban for
Waiting for spring.
What was it? Waiting for Spring, yes.
Good job, Clay.
Clay, I'll put you back up there. Let's see. Oh, we're out, sorry.
We want to give
Y'all want to do the people's choice on it now, or you want to save all people's choice for the end?
Hey, is this where we're going to let the people who placed to say something
Yeah,
about it?
let's have some comments, questions.
Yeah.
I just want to say that the pelican shot, Donna, is just stunning. And the other bird I like a lot too, but catching those pelicans in action like that in that formation was really cool.
Yeah.
You have
Thank
any
you.
you have any
No,
comments
that was
about?
on that was on our boating trip last weekend, and the boat happened to pull up, and the pelicans saw us, and they took off. So I just happened to be right there in the front of the boat when that happened. So
Nice.
it was a good shot. Yeah.
Right
That's
place,
fun.
right time.
Yeah. Is Clay on?
Clay, are you around? This is a first. No
Yeah,
Clay.
I haven't seen him.
He's gonna be so sorry. I mean, he got a first place.
I know. I love it. I thought it was just that movie. Who shot this? The Chickadee. Donna, is that you
This
as
was
well?
Donna again.
Yeah. That was
Where's
me.
that at?
My backyard.
Nice.
Sitting in
That's
my
great.
bedroom window. Camera. I had to go find a little stick that had something on it to put by the bird feeder so he would land on the stick first. So yeah, it was the day that it snowed here. So it was really cool.
You can
Very
you can
cool.
feel the cold.
Yeah.
I was inside. I wasn't cold.
I love how the out of focus highlights are different sizes, so you can really get that kind of depth, right? So it's some are little, some are big, some are like almost translucent.
When you get that sense of movement too.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, thank you.
It's cool.
And Dennis.
Is Dennis on?
Yes,
Dennis, got a story here?
a little bit. This is Copano Bay, and this is one of those shots
where you just happen to show up at the right time. I had been to this location before, and there was never this much activity. I mean, they got their dogs out there, they're fishing out there. The woman in the foreground's actually using her cell phone to shoot a picture of some fish or something, and it just all worked. You know, it's I went for the sunset, and all these people showed up.
I think without that woman in front, the photo doesn't work at all. But because she's there as a foreground, it gives it like this triangular depth to it that's really cool.
Oh yeah, it really perfect. It was perfect.
Well, also without, and this is gonna sound, without the people, you just have another sunset photo,
right?
Which isn't, you know,
right.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
Good job, Dennis.
Great.
Thanks.
Basic classes, as always, comes through strong.
I know.
Now we're going to move on to intermediate. We've got 27 images. So we're going
Mark, did you want to do people's choice?
That's right. I do want to do people's choice. Is everybody is up for that? We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. Why not?
Okay.
We're here. We're here.
People's choice. Thanks for reminding me. Show images. This week, the bronze goes to Donna Smith. Chickadee amidst the flurries. What happened here? Oh, come on. Okay. Second place, Donna Smith. This is getting trite. Pelicans in Flight. Again, I love it. And first place, or gold medal, I should say, is Sabrina Lunsford.
That was Donna's.
Yeah, it's not Donna's.
No,
No,
true.
not.
The whole basic class was just Donna.
Sabrina, where was this shot?
I assume it was a zoo.
Hi. Have you ever been to Snake World?
And I never will.
I've heard of it.
You talking
In
about the place
Braunfels?
on the way to the
In
valley?
Braunfels?
Yeah, it's just south of New Braunfels.
It's Snake Farm. Ray
It's a
Wiley
snake
Hubbard wrote a
farm.
song about it. Great song.
They a couple, I guess 10 years ago, a couple of chiropractors bought it and they're trying to make it into a real zoo type area. And I just happened, yeah. It used to be all alligators and snakes, and then now they've got these other animals there. So
Population
That place has been
control.
around- I remember driving up from when I was living in the valley to visit my grandmother in San Antonio, and that place was around even back then.
Guess we got our Texas Tiger Kings.
Too soon.
Okay, well, really well done. Let's see here. Going on to intermediate. We're going to try to, well, we're doing good on time. I think
We're doing good. That's just what we wanted.
So we have 27 images. We'll go through them in a survey here. Whoops.
Well, spoiler alert.
Spoiler, yeah, really. Don't pay attention to that man behind the curtain. He screwed it up again. Initial survey. All right.
Like, don't click on the winners either.
Yeah. All right. I think I got it right this time. 27 images. Should have been warned when there were only 3 showing up. Moonshot. I believe I can fly. Good parenting. Choose wisely.
Sydney.
A splash of color. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. I did. Heart of Canyon Lake, Texas. Skeleton. Snow in Austin. Hand blown. Sabbath evening Armenian quarter. Malden Mountain. Open up and smell the flowers. I am not a bird on a stick.
The jalapeno on steak.
Lace and steel. Tangle of branches. Trees in the fog. In the aftermath.
I have a feeling who took that picture.
Good morning, sunshine. Happy belated holidays. Keep your claws off my peanut. Got it. The stand. Red berries. Story of an urban stream. Wait for me.
We have, can you do voices for all the photos?
Well, no,
Okay.
but I will do my best. I'm sure you're all wanting that. Okay, good group of images.
Yeah.
As always, there's just lots to talk about. So start off with going through them again for the judges to make a few comments. Let's see here. So first one that's got no commentary here, none here. I'll just skip through these until we come to one that's got a oral critique.
Me. It is me.
Okay. Is it?
Isn't it? Starlet?
Let me see.
I have it written down in my notes, but
Okay. Oh, I must, you know what? I must have put this on a different spreadsheet because that's not showing up here. Okay, go ahead.
that's okay. So hooray for shooting portraits. Good job of submitting, something against the flow. I'm guessing some off-camera lighting was used just because the light in her eyes, and then the fact that light on her is different than light on the background. But yeah, I think I really like the choice of black and white versus going for like a sepia. Even though it has that kind of old world feel, like I think the sepia is just overdone. So I like that you elongated her face by opening her mouth just a little bit. That extends the jawline. Good use of getting the hand into the pose to where it's not just head and shoulders, right? So by getting the hand in, we're allowed more expression. So I think all those things are really good. You know, the costuming and all that's great. One of the things that bothers me, and this is maybe just OCD me, I do this when I walk into people's houses, I adjust their picture frames. But the line on the left and all of the lines behind her are tilted. And so it gives her kind of an askew thing to balance off. Whereas I would want my background to be straightened, and then she can be the thing that's askew. And that would kind of be my preference. I do like in this case the negative space that her eyes have room to move, right? So there's negative space here doesn't work against it. It actually works for it because the way she's looking has room for the action to happen. So yeah, I like that. I think the bottom of the cropping maybe gets a little bit it either needs to come up a little bit or come down a little bit. It's kind of caught in that little bit. Right at that sleeve, we see just that little bit of skin, and then the bottom of her elbow is just kind of chopped off. So either come down to capture the elbow or come up to just under the necklace right there at the collarbone, and that's going to give a little bit smoother crop line so that there isn't that little bit of skin right under her left arm. But all in all, I think black and white is a strong choice. I think the highlight on her face is really good. It separates her off the background by using that off-camera lighting. She is brighter than the background, so she stands out more. Just a couple little things to clean up, just a little bit of rotation in Lightroom or Photoshop, and then just bring that crop up just a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to take us back a couple images. Josh, you're also doing skeleton. I found my email from you.
Yeah, but did we already go past it?
Oh, maybe that was the first pass through. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gone past it yet.
Okay. Next is a splash of color. And we have Heart of Canyon Lake, and this is Haytham.
Yes. So I looked at this image and was trying to figure out, what the photographer was trying to focus on, because there is quite a few subjects in the foreground. So I think this landscape image attempts to capture the unique form or shape of a tree trunk and its surrounding water and rocks while maintaining some spatial context, like the horizon and where the thing is. I think that's what the image is trying to tell me. Subject, midground, and background are all in focus, so that's all good. Image is well exposed with good black and white points, but the image appears a bit too saturated. You can see it in the water and in the sky. Adjusting the white balance and lowering the saturation probably will help in this area. I think there's a lot of distracting negative space in the upper third and right side of the frame that can probably be, I would say, just pull the edge of the frame at the top down and on the right up to that small rock that's pointing toward the tree. Also, the large round rock in the upper left corner seems to be kind of drawing the eye every time you look at it. And I think if you can just pull that, I actually copied this photo and I cropped it myself. And I like the crop without the round rock and the negative space better than what it is. But actually, honestly, that's a toss-up.
Okay. Thank you.
Did you see the heart, Haytham?
Yes, I did.
I had looked at it as if it were just a landscape, or the landscape was pretty, and then I saw the heart, and it was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, there's quite a few elements in the foreground, and that's why I was saying that I was having difficulty. Which one is the photographer wanted me to focus on? And that's what led me to say, okay, maybe we should crop and remove some of the clutter so that.
Yeah. So you see the heart.
Yes, I do. Is that yours?
No.
Okay.
Okay, Josh, skeleton.
I like this macro. Macro's fun. People get asked, what can I shoot right now? Everything's closed down. I think macro is a great solution for going out and shooting something. The world of textures and I don't know, the quantum realm, if you want to call it that, right? I think there's a whole world out there. I think this is a great example. Again, a really good black and white, very high contrast black and white, which I really love. It shows off just the texture. By removing the color, what we're left with is the texture, and this texture is really good. We have a nice, strong diagonal line. I wrote diagonal in my comments about 5 times. I never spelled it right. So I'm happy just to say the word diagonal. But we have a nice diagonal line running through. And then it's almost like a book page opening. I know. Yeah, spell check. Thanks. But it kind of is like if you imagine like shooting a book opening, that kind of is what it reminds me of. And all the textures, words you can't read. So, I really like that. I would have maybe, I don't know if this been better, but where that diagonal hits, if it could have been at one of the corners to really bisect that frame. I don't know that it would have worked better, but just something to consider. Good depth of field. I think it was shot at f8, something like that. So really good. I mean, I think it's really good. Diabolical diagonal, yeah. It's just really great texture. And I think by making it black and white, it removed the choice to look at the color, and it forced you to look at just the texture. And I think as we're all getting more experience, as we're shooting more, we're hearing critiques, right? A lot of those questions come down to is, what do you want the viewer to see? And or more specifically, what do you only want the viewer to see? And I think by removing the color, this serves that purpose of, I don't want you to see any color. I just want you to see this cool texture. So I think it's really well done. I really enjoyed this one.
Thanks, Josh. This is snow in Austin. Patty.
Okay, I get another snow day photograph. This one, when I look at this, I think it's serene, it's quiet. The snow has stopped, but what a beautiful scene. You've got the framing of the trees around the water. You've got some footprints leading up to where people may have been sitting there and enjoying the day. Just a hint of color in the trees. The whole thing just says stillness, calmness, quiet, snow day. And I'm just wondering, what if you took up that bottom just a little bit and cropped in from the bottom just a little bit? Do you need that space on the bottom? Were you trying to keep that because of the footprints, or that's the only thing I could think of to maybe improve it. But other than that, great shot.
Okay. Thank you, Patty. Hand blown. Sabbath evening in the Armenian Quarter. And Josh, I believe you're going to comment on this.
Yeah, really, really fantastic. I think there's a couple, I don't know why all the black and white photos, but the last three have been black and white that I've talked about. But I think what we're left with is just a really cool texture. But then there's really three central figures, right? We have the man walking away from us and the two people walking at us. There's other people in there, but they don't really, they're just accents, right? So we have the silhouette person walking away, and they're framed against the brightest part of the photo. And what I think is so neat about this one is it starts with the darkest, right? Where we're standing is the darkest, or wherever the photographer's standing is the darkest portion. And as you move through the photo, it gets brighter. And then the person that's basically in silhouette is framed against that brighter part. And then you kind of come back around, and then that arch kind of serves to spin you back around to the two people walking at you. I just love this texture. I think the black and white's really good. It really makes me nostalgic for what travel used to be. And by taking the black and white, right, it kind of adds that timelessness where this photo could have been taken anytime. Like, I don't know, like pick the year, this year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, who knows? And so I really love just your eye just kind of moves through, and you kind of find little things and come back, and it's just a great like transition of black to white, and then a bunch of texture transitions as well. So these shots are harder to do. One of the things too, this was shot at a very long focal length, and it really compresses the scene versus if we had shot from the same distance at a wide angle, much different shot. Both are fine, but by shooting I think it was shot at over 200 mil, it really compresses everything, so it makes it feel a much different feel than if it had been a wide angle. So good choices. Yeah.
Malden Mountain. Open up and smell the flowers. Haytham.
Yes. So this is a good macro capture of a flower. Shallow depth of field focuses the eye on the stamen and the petal tips, creating a pleasing artistic effect. So the maker was very successful there. Flowers off center, follow with thirds, which along with the square crop enhances the overall presentation of the subject, so there's not a whole lot of clutter. The overall image exposure seems dark to me, and black and white points don't seem to have been set correctly. I think both of those can be corrected in post. I also think that the background surrounding the flower, while out of focus and soft, is just not providing subject isolation because they're the same color as the flowers. And so it would have been better if the maker had considered a different angle maybe, and positioned a different color background while framing the flower to complement the subjects. Otherwise, you can just maybe tighter crop to kind of reduce the amount of pink in the pink background in the image to give you maybe a pleasing effect. But overall, it's a good macro shot.
Okay. I am not a bird on a stick. I'll take your word for it. Lace and steel. Patty.
Okay, so this is a backlit vine juxtaposed against a barbed wire. You couldn't have more of a contrast there. You've got the dew on the flower, and it's backlit. You definitely get the sense that it's in the morning, maybe a new day dawning, perhaps fraught with restrictions or tension because you've got the barbed wire running across there. But I love the color toning. I think it's a great image. I love the little tiny bits of dew at the top of the flower. It's got a good muted background, and like the orange toning on it. So well done.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of interesting contrast there. Tangle of branches. Trees and fog. In the aftermath. And Patty, you're up again.
Okay, let me find that one. Okay, this one, we only had a few to choose from to comment on, but so that if your photograph doesn't get commented on, there's just not enough time for all of the judges to make the comments. So we only had a few to choose from, but this one, I had a strong emotional reaction to this when I saw this photograph, and I it's begging to tell me the story behind this. Is he a fireman? I don't know. And is that water in the background coming out from a fire hydrant? I don't know, maybe, but it looks like he's weary, and he's been fighting something hard or rescuing somebody in a difficult situation. And you can see the emotion on his face. The debris in the front might be, I'm wondering if you can crop that up and come in more on I'm going to call him a fireman for lack of a better description, but if you could crop in a little bit to take out that debris in the front. I would like to see the face a little bit more. And if you are able to crop it in, you could really get the detail on that face and maybe brighten it up just a little bit. Let's see, what else did I say about this? Closer in crop, maybe a little bit brighter face. Great shot, great image, tells a great story. Congratulations.
Good morning, sunshine. Happy belated holidays. Keep your claws off my peanut. Got it? The stand. Red berries. Story of an urban stream.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, Haytham.
So this is an excellent image of reflection. I love taking photos of reflection that sort of blend into the foreground, and this the photographer here has accomplished that very well. Well, the reflection itself is well exposed with good black and white points. The reflected image is remarkably well focused. The pavement surrounding the water creates a natural frame and provides a good isolation of the subject. So you don't really need to worry about that. I think the pavement itself, though, is a bit too bright, and it could use a little bit of darkening. It's kind of detracting from the reflection, which is the main subject of the image. I believe adding maybe a little bit of vignette may solve that easily. Also, I think it would make the composition a bit stronger if the edge of the pavement surrounding the water at the top is continuous. So I don't know if the photographer had cropped it already and chopped that, or when he took it, it was just cropped. But overall, it's a very good execution. I really like this image, and the colors and the exposure is right on. There is one nit that and I admit it's a nit, but I just thought it's a feedback to the photographer. There is a distracting object in the reflection. I'm not really sure if it's a stick in the water or is it the flagpole on the building. But if it's a stick in the water, I typically try to clean up the environment or the thing that I'm photographing before I take the shot. If it's a flagpole, well, it is what it is.
Thanks. Wait for me. And that's the last shot in this category. So we will go to judges' picks. And we have 3 places and 4 honorable mentions. First honorable mention, Cheryl Callan, Wait for Me. Cheryl's one of our newer members. Calvin Poole for honorable mention for In the Aftermath. Starlet on the Set, Vance Strickland, honorable mention.
Nice, Vance.
Vance Strickland, Choose Wisely, honorable mention. Really cool image. Got it. Third place, Cheryl Callan.
Really good.
Love the colors in this one.
Yeah.
We have a tie for first place. Nick Grossman for Sabbath Evening in the Armenian Quarter. And Charles Schwartz, Story of an Urban Stream.
Cool.
So awesome group of pictures. Let me go back to them. Show the images.
Want to let everybody, the
Yeah.
placers, talk about them? Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Is Calvin on tonight?
I don't see him on the list.
Okay. Vance. I know I saw Vance earlier.
Yeah, I'm here. So this is basically 2 separate shots. That's fine.
Yeah, there's the 2 shots. Okay.
Yeah, it's two separate shots composited together in Photoshop. So that's the only way. Well, that's the only way I could think to do it. And it was inspired actually by a different image, totally different style that was in the imaging PPA contest over, that was online like a few weeks ago. So I shot. It gave me an idea, which is the PPA one was having more high key with the black background. Since I only had this particular cape, which is dark, it was the case, couldn't get quite the same contrast, but that's where it came from.
That is really cool.
Vance, you used 2 lights on the subject or 1?
It was for the black background, I've got a main light, which is an Ellen Chrome, and then a speed light acting as the rim. And for the white background, there's a speed light blasting the background out, and another speed light with black cinefoil getting as tight, almost to a quarter size bead of light, just so I can illuminate only the face.
Nice.
I don't know how you do this.
That was really cool.
That's beautiful work.
Yeah.
Good job, Vance.
This is stunning too. I mean, look at that. Cheryl, are you here?
I love this image.
I'm here.
This is great. What kind of
Thank
lens did
you.
you shoot this with?
500.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm in the car. I don't have the best connection ever.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Those lily pads or whatever they're walking on just look so aggressive, like they're about to eat the bird. It reminds me like you're like in a movie when like the whole castle's crumbling. They're trying to race out of it. Those little like jagged edges are about to catch the bird as it's trying to catch its food.
Carol, where was the shot?
What was your question?
Oh,
Where was the?
Oh, where?
Where?
Where was it?
Yeah.
This was in San Antonio. Somebody called me and told me that there was green herons in San Antonio on lily pads. So I jumped in the car and went down there.
Cool.
Commitment. I like that.
Yeah, I saw one.
I love green herons. So
yeah.
Excellent shot. I mean, so sharp where it needs to be. Really, really great. Okay.
Thank you.
Second place. No,
tie for first.
This is the tie for first place. Okay.
So there wasn't a second place?
Yeah,
there's 2 firsts and a third. Nick, are you there?
Yep, I was just trying to unmute myself. So this was taken in Jerusalem in 2019, in those lovely days when we could all travel. I really like frame within a frame and also black and white in these sort of somewhat busy urban scenes. And thank you for your kind critique. It was Friday evening, getting towards sunset, and people were streaming towards the Western Wall for the service. And I planted myself in the corner so as not to get in the way of the guys that were camera shy. And this was the one I liked the best. So thank you.
Yeah, that's really well done.
Great image. And the other tie for first place, Charles Schwartz. Charles, are you here tonight? All right. Well, I'm guessing he's not, or he doesn't know how to unmute himself. But
we have a question in the comments of what was the car in the parking in Jurassic Park one? Does anybody know what kind of car that was?
Gary, do you know what kind of car that was? I got pictures of that, and I don't remember what kind of car it is. That's at Laguna Gloria.
I think it's a Bel Air. I want to say a Chevy Bel Air.
Okay. Somebody was asking in the comments.
Yeah, Laguna Gloria.
That's a great title, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, go to the last category, the advanced group.
No, go intermediate, people's choice.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Now, I don't do well getting out of my routine, do I? Okay, we're going to do people's choice. Going once, going twice. All right. The bronze goes to Nick Grossman and this is my good side. That's cool looking. That's the Hartford.
Thank you.
The silver goes to Van Strickland for Choose Wisely, or Obi-Wan Wears a Hoodie. And the gold goes to Cheryl Callan for Got It. I think you got it. Cool. All right.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Who did the salt?
I think Ronnie did, right?
Yeah, I did.
Well lit.
Pardon?
It's really nicely lit so that you
Oh,
found
thank you.
pretty
Thank you.
points in it.
Was that just a pile of salt, or did you find
That's a
some crystal formation?
Single, yeah.
It's Malden salt kind of grows in these little pyramid-y kind of, or I don't grows, you know, they sell it, but it's in little pyramid-y kind of shapes.
Okay.
I just like texture.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Okay. We will now go through the advanced group, which has 26 images. Number 1, Crimson and Clover. An idea within an idea. All the leaves are brown. At 400 at the 04. Sunset over Cathedral Rock. Interspersed. Shine bright like a diamond. One of a kind. Foggy morning. Morning on Lake Dotrieve. Abandoned remodel. Jurassic parking. Through a glass darkly. Reflection. Harbinger of spring. After the rain. Five flustered birds on a stick. Come closer and try calling me cute. Midnight in Barbados. Embankment. Balancing Woody.
I'm glad that's a picture of a duck.
The Guardian.
That's a beep, not a duck.
Feathered photo bomber. Sunrise at White Sands. Cosmic shores. Snowy rose. Okay. We'll go through them again with the critiques, oral critiques. Let's see. My page organized here. Okay, 26 total images. Crimson and Clover. An idea within an idea. All the leaves are brown. Josh, take it away.
Yeah. I was actually looking for a YouTube clip. There's a great Japanese anthology movie called Chungking Express, and they use this song. Anyway, there's a link to it if you want to see that. It's completely off topic. So earlier we talked about using shutter speed to tell a different story, right? We have these time machines in our hands that we use. And I think this is a great use of this. Whenever I find these types of scenes, I'm always without my tripod, like 100 times out of 100. And so I love that. I think this was shot at like 15th or like 20th of a second, somewhere in there. And it's just this really beautiful swirl. And then that light is just catching that leaf, like just this really cool golden. So we have that good color contrast between the golden leaf and then kind of the blues and some of the shadows. If you look, especially on the left-hand side, you see kind of these blues and the shadows, and just really kind of plays up that water and then that orange contrast. But just really lovely. I do like how it is now. But I also wonder that leaf on the lower right that your eye kind of goes to. I wonder what the photo will look like with just that one. So if we cropped out the left and the top and just left ourselves with just that swirl, I don't know. I kind of put my hand up to it and I kind of like it better because that's where your eye goes anyway. So I don't know. It's something to play with. I do like that there's a rule of odds, right? So we have 1, 2, 3 leaves is kind of our main subjects there. So good rule of odds. But yeah, I just kind of wonder what it would look like with just that one leaf there. Anyway, it's just really great kind of like motion abstract. And it would be a very different photo if it had been shot at 1/8,000th of a second. So yeah, anyway, I think the other things you could do is like try going longer, maybe like a 2-second exposure or whatever. But I really like this one. I think it's real beautiful. So.
Okay, thanks. 0400 at the 04. Sunset over Cathedral Rock. Interspersed. Shine bright like a diamond. Patty, what do you say?
Okay, well, here's a good example of using the time differential to, I guess, light paint is what they're doing. But when I first saw this, my first thought was, wow, this is one of those wow photographs. Is there anything that can be improved on this? I'm not really sure. There might be. I would hesitate to say anything really, except that I almost, when I look in the middle in front of, I think that's a woman, there's a kind of a black hole in front of her. I wish that was red. I keep coming back to that. I don't know. It almost looks like a breast, but I don't think it is. I think it's just beyond the person. I'm not sure. Somebody help me out with that. And then, did somebody say something? And then maybe there might be a little too much, just a pinch, too much negative space on the right, but I really love it. And it's got that wow factor and it's a really great photograph.
Cool. Yeah, we'll have to talk to the maker at the end of this. One of a kind. Foggy morning. Morning on Lake Dotreve. Abandoned remodel. Josh.
Yeah, so I love, after I looked at these photos and I went to judge them the next day, but in the meantime, I really want to shoot in this building. So if somebody wants to let me know what it is, like I love the way the light is just bouncing around inside of those rooms. It's very interesting to me. And I think I could do a lot. It's on the way to Fredericksburg. Okay. I really like, I just really love the way the light is coming through kind of the upper left and then coming through the scene. Yeah, it's just really, really beautiful. Now, I will say when we're doing architecture, again, I'm kind of a stickler for these things, but we're trying to present buildings, right? And so this one, it's a little bit off. The verticals aren't vertical, especially at the doorway. So Lightroom Transform tool, you can use the guided tool to straighten those out. But then secondly, I think the color and the light on the building is great. But I think the trees and that external structure, I actually think they take away from the photo. All I want to do is kind of soak in this light that this building is exhibiting. And I really don't want anything else. I don't want to know that there's trees. I don't want to know that there's a sky. I don't want to know that there's grass. I just want to see just the building and the light and the way the light is interacting with the building. So a little bit more confident crop and bringing that in so that we don't see anything other than the light in the building, because I think that's really where it's at. You know, we have the floor with this great texture, you know, and the wall is going from top to bottom. It gets really black and nasty. And so I think that's where the heart of the image is. So that's really what I want to see. The leaves take away from it because you have those really hot, bright highlights on the leaves, and it serves to be a distraction. I think another way to take this, again, this is just me, to square up to the doorway and make it a very square, symmetrical. That could have also been an option. But I really like the way the light is captured coming through the building. I really want to shoot portraits there. So message me, please let me know where it is.
Okay. Jurassic parking. Through a glass darkly. Reflection. Haytham.
Okay, so this is an excellent capture of a bird in flight with reflection as an added bonus. Motion freeze is with the bird in focus is accomplished well, so that's good. It's not easy to do that with a bird in flight. Need a steady hand and you follow the bird. Color of the water seems to add a muted effect to the overall image. It's sort of like bringing the mood down, and so and making the whole image darker. I think a brighter background would improve the overall mood and enhance the contrast. The image is cropped obviously to sort of focus on the bird, but I feel that the context of the bird with its surrounding has been lost. Maybe perhaps a different capture angle or a wider crop could have improved that, but I'm not sure that's even possible because you know how these things are. You follow a bird and then you shoot it, and it is what it is. But anyways, overall is an excellent technical capture. A little bit dark, maybe a brighter background would improve it.
Cool. All right. Harbinger of spring. After the rain. Patty.
Yeah, this is one of mine. I was lucky to have this in my group of assigned photographs, and I gave this, I think, a perfect score. I love this photograph. It's a great macro abstract. I could just stare at that all day long, and I want a large blow up of this photograph to put up on my wall so I can stare at it all day long. Love the colors. It's crisp, but it also has a little subtlety there in where the orange is in the middle of the flower. It's sharp, but it's also got a little what am I trying to say? It's, I don't know, your eye is definitely drawn to that. I think your eye is also drawn to these amazing water drops, and the color is just beautiful. I love it. I can't wait to find out who did it.
I know who did it.
Who?
We'll see at the end, but I know who did it.
Okay.
5 flustered birds on a stick. Come closer and try calling me cute. Midnight in Barbados. Embankment. Balancing Woody. The Guardian.
That's mine.
Okay.
another great macro shot of a spider inside a flower bloom. The spider is really crisp and it's set against the yellow coloring. But then you've also got the blue contrasting. I think your eye definitely goes to that spider. It really gives me the impression of that spider about to jump out at me when I'm looking at this. So just so well done. I'm wondering if the other macro shot of the flower was done by the same photographer, or is this a different author? But really well done. This also got extremely high scoring from me.
Okay. Feathered photo bomber. Haytham.
Yes. So this is a lovely capture of the wolves with their kill. Exposure of the wolves against the snow is captured really well, but although the snow is a bit, it appears a bit overexposed. The dark forest in the background with the falling snow adds to the mysterious mood of the image. It's really almost a postcard shot. Now I realize the title of the image has the bird as intended for the bird to be an integral part of the image. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think that the bird seems a distraction of the main subject, which is the wolf and the kill. And it's to me, it appears a bit out of place. The maker may consider removing it in post and see if that makes it any different or better. I think without the bird, the image is just stunning as far as setting and the wolves there. A little negative space in the bottom that can be reduced to bring the wolves closer. But other than that, I think it's a good capture.
Okay. Sunrise at White Sands. Josh?
Yeah. A flower shot, but in a different way, right? I don't know if it's what did it say, sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Sunrise, yeah. So props to getting out early. I don't like early. That's why I shoot portraits. People also don't like getting up early. But yeah, I think, in this vast barren desert, I think the tendency is to shoot super wide and just show the expanse of everything. And so I think what's the real success of this photo is getting very close. I'm guessing the camera wasn't more than about a foot away at this point and shooting pretty wide. I would say that a couple things. One, I really love the texture and the sunlight hitting like that, the wetness of the flower. Like that's really the standout. But I think the sun, I think this photo would be better served moving the camera about 5 degrees to the right and getting rid of that super bright hot spot. I do like the flares in it, right? The sun rays, but the area right above those rays is just so bright that it's hard to keep your vision on the flower. Your eye just kind of wants to move across the screen. And the other thing it does that the clouds or sky, there's some really bad like halation there. And so I think if we just spun a little bit to the right, because the other thing that's going on here is the plant is kind of moving to the right, and then we crop it off almost at like the wrist. So imagine taking a picture and then cropping my wrist off, right? So the end of that plant just isn't there, and I just want to see it finish to kind of give it a little space. So I think by moving it a little bit to the right, we could solve two problems. One, we would get rid of the sun. Two, we would see the finishing of that plant. Now, there could have been, I don't know, 100 different things there that made it impossible. But the other thing is the tip of that flower is right at the horizon line. So either coming down a little bit or coming up a little bit to either capture, it's just a weird break in the horizon. of that flower. So coming up just a touch or coming down just a touch, I think either would serve well here. So I think just some minor positioning would really make this photo go a little bit more. I could see coming up a little bit higher and shooting down on it a little bit and getting rid of the sky altogether, where it's just the rays of the sand. And then you'd have that nice like warmth of the rays and the cool of the sand as a contrast, and not really worrying about the sky. I think trying to get the sky in is maybe, I don't know. It feels, although I do like the, those rays coming in, I think overall, if we'd tilted up and kind of shut down a little bit, or got much lower and had the flower up against the color of the sky, I think both of those would have served well. As it is, it's just kind of in the middle of where it should be compositionally. So, but otherwise, I really love the texture of the leaves, and good for getting close.
Okay. Cosmic Shores. And our last image in this category is Snowy Rose. Haytham.
Yes, so this is a unique capture of a rose in the snow. Get that warm color of the rose, and the cold snow create that interesting opposing dynamic. So it's a really an interesting combination. The blurred background helps isolate the subject, but some parts are overexposed. So the background is a little blown out. Foliage on the right side of the frame seems distracting. I think a square crop would get rid of that and remove the distraction. I also think the flower itself could be a bit more in focus. I think parts of it are in focus and parts of it are not. I think that tends to distract because you want to see those petals and ice. The snowflakes on it. Other than that, that's an interesting capture.
All right. Well, thank you, judges. That went really smoothly, and we still have time to have some more discussion. So let's go find judges' choices. In this category, we had 26 images, so it'll be 3 places and 4 honorable mentions. And honorable mention goes to Patty Mitchell for Feathered Photo Bomber. I wonder, what kind of bird is that? Patty, you still here?
That's a magpie.
I am here. It is a magpie.
All right.
Unmute.
Yeah.
And are they wolves or coyotes?
Yes, good point. Coyotes.
That's what I thought.
About to be dessert magpie.
They're too quick.
What can you tell us about, where was this taken, Patty?
Yellowstone.
Okay. Well, and are they real or stuffed? No, just well, one of them's getting stuffed. Okay.
The magpie, he flew by safely. The coyotes aren't worried about him. Magpie's just trying to get a little bit of meat if he can. Opportunity.
Oh, they eat meat. Yeah, that's interesting. Next honorable mention is yours truly. And this is some isolation photography. When you can't go anywhere, you go in the backyard.
What lens are you shooting with to get this close?
This is probably my 100mm macro.
Okay.
The one that you convinced me to buy.
It's a great lens. I love it. I shoot it all the time.
Well done, Mark.
I love the expression on the spider.
Yeah. Spider face, until you start seeing macro images, you don't realize that you can see spider eyes and what looks like a face. I don't know if that's really a mouth or not, but and at night, I guess a lot of these eyes light up.
Yes, they do.
A light on them.
Yes, they do.
Did you put light on it, Mark?
No, I didn't. This was all, it was backlit, and, I got the throat of the flower, was lit from behind. I just like the way that the pollen was, collecting on there. And one of the comments was made about this spot probably should have been fixed, and I agree. That doesn't help any.
The what should be fixed?
Oh, just this blemish in the flower.
Oh,
And I didn't even see it, to be honest.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. The next image, honorable mention, is Reflection from Dennis Bosserman.
Very nice.
Yeah. Dennis, you here?
Was here.
Just that like moment, right? Just that breath, that instant before it happens.
I was wondering if maybe he had underexposed it to keep from blowing out the highlights on the bird.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was a little bit darker, but
I like it being dark because the eye is the eye's exposed right, so everything else doesn't matter.
Well, you could change the blue only if you really wanted to, just by
Yeah, change
color.
the luminosity just to blue. Yeah.
Next honorable mention is After the Rain, and that was mine. And this actually, the same story, working in the backyard after a heavy rain one day, and I shot this one as a focus stack, but it was handheld. I just kind of gradually moved in because I knew I wasn't going to get everything in sharp, and I absolutely wanted to get these water drops sharp because I thought that was the heart of the picture. And then I did a little bit of color enhancement using oh, Josh, you'll have to help me in Lightroom, the color wheel.
Oh, color grading?
Color grading, yeah, I did a little color grading because this area was kind of bland. So I used some color grading to make it a little bit more pink or coral. It looked more interesting to me as I went through different options.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Mark, is this cropped or is this a full frame?
It's full frame. I mean, there's a tiny bit of cropping because of the focus stacking, but it's really full frame.
I see.
Great job.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, and somebody said they wanted a print, so get that print store up, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I want a print of that, Mark.
Okay. Special price for you. Third place. All the leaves are brown.
Yeah, great.
That was named in.
It was me.
Carol.
Carol,
Beautiful.
talk to us.
Huh. Well, I didn't use a tripod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was this? This was, I think, this was in Shenandoah, fall of 19 on our trip across the South. So yeah, thousands of images from that trip. But yeah, this is cropped a bit. But I picked the composition purposefully, had to take down some of the stuff in the middle and change a little bit of the color on some of the ripple in the middle was kind of brown, but I liked how the two stems of the main leaves are, ended up being sharp. So
yeah.
It was just kind of one of the ones that worked really well. So
yeah, I think that's kind of the strong point of the image to me. This water is clearly moving, yet the leaves look like they're still, and it must be stuck somewhere. But that's really cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, we get our chance to ask Alan, our second place winner, for how he shot Shine Bright Like a Diamond.
Is he here?
Yes, he
Yes,
was.
I am here. There's not really a lot to say. It was just a light painting outing with a bunch of people, and it looked very interesting to me. I really liked how the sparkles kind of spawn little legs or whatever. So
what was that in front of her? It's clearly not a breast.
that is the center of rotation that didn't have any light.
Okay.
It to be just behind her.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's a great shot.
That's very unique.
That's for sure.
Look.
And are you using a slow shutter speed? I don't think I remember the settings on that one. Did you have the settings?
I'm sure it was probably 2 or 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Now, is that steel? What am we looking at?
We were doing a variety of things. So the outer ring looks to be steel wool. The inner portion seems to be LED lights, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the model was had to stand still for that entire duration. So she played her part well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turned out great.
Yeah.
I really like the composition on this too. I really like all the empty space over on the right. That's just
Yeah, you know, I tried a lot of variations, and including how dark, how silhouetted she is. And so you can see just a hint of the background on the negative space, but this was my favorite cropping of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. And first place, Crimson and Clover, Steve Burkich. I suspect he's been influenced by a certain artist.
Yeah, do I get like bonus points because
I would have thought that was Josh's.
Yeah, I thought it was
kind of.
I gave it high scores because
fooled you all, didn't I?
Tommy James and the Shondells versus the Mamas and the Papas in the advanced group tonight.
Yeah, Josh could probably explain the process. Second curtain, shaking the camera.
Yeah, so
and I went with my inner 60s on the title, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful.
It's not a bear.
No, it's not a bear.
Yeah. But it's
Stephen,
really...
Stephen, are you aware that Joan Jett did a cover of this song?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to explain what's actually happening here? Because I can.
Yeah.
Please.
So sorry, there's a constant light, which is that red. It's a RGB LED light wand that we set to kind of a reddish color. And then there was a speed light to set to green. And then there was another light that was supposed to be a backlight, but I also mishandled it and broke a flash tube. So I don't know if it was firing exactly on this frame, but yeah, that was like $150 mishandle. And then it was probably like 1/10 of a second. And then the instructions were to shake the camera as you were shooting as violently as you could. And then second curtain, so the constant light blends in first, and then the second curtain fires at the end to freeze our subject in a room that was blacked out pretty much.
Cool.
So this is the second
Not a bird on a
high-quality
stick.
image we've had that's
So
been lit.
Yeah, I love it.
What's really funny is I actually submitted a bird on a stick.
Yeah. 5 birds on 5 sticks.
And then flowers. So yeah, I submitted the a rose and birds just because I didn't have anything else for the month.
Okay. People's choice. The bronze, Haytham Samarchi's Sunset Over Cathedral Rock. Haytham, what you got to say?
Well, this was taken in Sedona, Arizona, during our trip to Arizona in 2019, back in during spring. And I've seen this shot online, and I had staked out the place, and then when I got to it, it was flooded. I had to actually go almost waist deep in water to get to this island where I can get to the reflection, and I had to sit there and wait until, you know, it was almost sunsetted, which is when the rocks go on fire. If you do it before then or after that, just either too washed out or too muted. So anyways, I was able to get what I wanted.
Turned out very nice. Hope your clothes dried quickly. Silver goes to the Guardian. and goes to the guard to after the rain.
Here you go.
So
Nice.
you've heard everything you might
done.
hear about those. Well, guys, thanks to the judges again. You did a great job. And to the photographers in the club, as always, you didn't fail us. You submitted tons of great images from all three classes. It's a treat to be able to look at these. And I get to look at them probably more than anybody. So I really like this job.
Can I ask about a photo?
Yeah.
Sure.
It was, there was, I don't remember the name. It was like Lake Doddering or something like that.
Lake Dotreve. Yeah, I'll find that for you.
Just like King of the Hill.
I don't think I caught the photographer on that one.
That was
And
Patty
if they're
Robertson.
online, I'd love to hear their story about it.
Well,
Yeah.
that was me. And the reason, this is one of the photographs I selected to submit to the landscape show. And the reason I selected it is because Rick Salmon really liked it when I put it up in his phototherapy Facebook group, and he wanted to use it as a banner. But so it's very early in the morning, really cold. We're on a boat, and we're waiting for the sun to come through the fog that's on the lake. And as the sun creeps up, it starts shining through the fog, and that's the shot we were trying to get.
That is a gorgeous picture. It should have placed. It's
Well,
that
thank
good.
you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I have cropped it down for the landscape show because Linda Nickel recommended that I crop down the top and on the left. So it's going to be a slightly different version in the show, but thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Anybody have questions about any other images? Look at the list here. Let's see if there's anything I want to use.
Yeah, the image that was in the advanced group that's got the Milky Way and the shore.
Okay, that's Cosmic Shores. That's near the end.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, I figured as much. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous shot.
That's obviously a composite.
Yeah.
It's a shot of South Beach in Miami,
Hmm.
near around sunset time. You can see the sunburst reflection there, kind of low.
Uh-huh.
And the Milky Way was shot. I shot that. Well, anyway, the South Beach shot was done in March of 2019. The Milky Way, I shot that in Zion National Park the year before, and put the two together. Well, I was on a kick, during the pandemic. I was revisiting old photos, and I was on a kick of composites. So I was putting Milky Ways on some of the shots that I had, and this was one of mine. I like the way it turned out, the transition.
Yeah, it works really well. I love too the water, how the water is not like super crisp. I think that the softness of the water with the sky over it is just, and then the sun along the skyline is just a really great combination.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The beach shot was a bracketed shot also, so that's probably that's.
Bracket, 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 and carry your tripod everywhere
Oh yes.
and use it.
Where did the jetty come out towards the?
This
towards
was
it?
there's a spot where you can actually walk all the way out, and it's a kind of an observation deck. You're kind of in the middle of the water, and then you look back, and then there's this jetty full of rocks. And to the left, if you pan to the left, is where Miami skyline starts. But this is South Beach.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That was a great idea and good execution, I thought.
Thanks.
Any other images from any other class that people want to talk about? Let's see. I really.
This is Dennis. I couldn't figure out how to unmute my system earlier when I tried to talk, but on the bird reflection bird,
Yeah.
I was trying to take a bunch of shots of birds landing, and that one turned out good, but it turned out that the bird was panning to keep up with it. I only got him at the very edge of the picture, so I couldn't crop it very big to have some open space for travel in it. And that's just the way it worked out, unfortunately. But
yeah, I figured that's what happened, because I've done a lot of birds in flights, and you pan the bird and then you get the shot and it ends up in a weird angle.
yeah.
What was that? Oh, that was trying to get
but good shot, good execution on that one.
I forgot where it was. Let's see. It was called the Reflection, or what was it called? Reflection. So it's okay. Got it. Here, should be back here. Oh, yeah, there it is. And I wanted to compliment Alan on this shot because that is not easy to find that, or is it?
No, it's not. In fact, I think the only time you can see them do that is after a rain, where the ground is soft enough where the worms come up to the surface and they hear them. And I actually got this in Kansas. I don't know, a year or two ago.
So when I've got all these robins flocking in my backyard in the morning, that's what they're doing, huh?
You can see them put their the side of their head towards the ground. They're listening for the worms.
I'll be darned. Well, that's really cool. I really like that shot. That's you should be very...
Yeah, that's a kind of a quintessential robin picture, and I have never been able to catch it until this trip last year. So.
Well, good job. What? Now tell me, how did you do that? Were you just out there waiting? I mean, well, you had to be.
I was driving around Webster Lake in northwest Kansas, and there were a bunch of robins near a campground, and I could see that they were looking for insects, and so I just stopped, got out, got my birding gear out, and waited, and sure enough, he pulled a worm out, and
I take it you were down low to the ground?
Their behavior as well. I mean, that always helps when you're shooting birds, is to know a little bit about their behavior. So, but this was what I was hoping to get that day, and sure enough, I did. So,
well done.
Thank you.
Good job.
So, Alan, were you laying down on the ground to get that shot?
No, but I should have. No, I was probably leaning against my car, I think.
I wanted to one image. Well, that's a great shot of the moon for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I love this. It just really stands out.
There is a black background, orange and yellow flower or group of flowers.
Yeah, midnight in Barbados.
Whose is that? That's beautiful, and
that was
in the background.
Yeah, that was in the advanced group. Who shot Midnight in Barbados? I can look it up. I'll look it up in a second. I wanted to.
Flower is pride of Barbados. So
yes. Well, I forgot what I was going to do. Okay. Let's see here. We can bring up the. Here we go. Let's see. Midnight Barbados was Mary Day Long.
Okay.
Mary's not.
She's
Mary
not
here tonight?
So next month is curves.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'm glad you mentioned next month because we have to have our entries in 2 weeks earlier. There's a Ed, do you remember what the date is?
16th.
Yeah, it's the 16th, I believe.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
2
we're
weeks
gonna-
and 2 days before the competition.
We're going to have.
Remember to correct the date on the entry when you go in and to submit a photo. It still says it's the 26th.
Okay, I'll make sure. Thanks for letting me know that. I'll fix that. Yes, we're going to use judges from PSA to do the advanced class, see how that goes. And if it goes well, that might become our usual. We'll see. All right, anybody else have anything else to say? Josh, closing remarks?
You know, I say this a lot, but man, there's so many good photos. Like it's somewhat ridiculous. Just, and I think Patty alluded to it earlier, which is, I mean, we had macro, fine art, landscape, wildlife, portraits. Like, you know, it's so many different aspects. It's kind of hard to, you know, it's just kind of hard to take in all at once. It takes us a little while to judge this. I don't know about the other judges, but it took me 2 days really to get through these photos.
Same here.
Yeah.
Took me 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot, but you know, Patty and Haytham, this is y'all's first time judging here. How'd it go for y'all?
It was,
Go ahead.
It was an eye opener for me. It was a lot of work. And I had to go through them several times.
Yeah.
And I just kept coming back to them and redoing the critiques and adding more and changing, you know, increasing the scores. Scores got higher and higher. And so it was great experience.
Haytham, what about you?
Yes, it was a lot of work. We had to score, rank and score all of them, and then provide a written critique for a third of the images. And to me, the way I approached it is that I wanted to put myself in the photographer's shoe and say, okay, what am I expecting when I submit an image like that? I want something that I could use to improve this image. And I didn't want to just, you know, give you, oh, this is a great photo, this is whatever. Yeah. A lot of the photos I just copied and I started playing with because, you know, for me to be able to give you something that you can use, you know, I gotta get in there, right? And so it took a while. It took a while to get through. Yeah. And so some of the images were really tough to grade because I couldn't understand what the message was. And that's on me, not on the photographer. Yeah.
I ended up critiquing all 64. That's what took me so long. and then after I did that, Mark said, no, you're only supposed to critique a third of them. So anyway, I screwed up, but so there's more critiques out there.
I was wondering because I went back and looked at mine and I was like, why did I mess it up? Because I messed up a couple. I just read the lines wrong on the assignment. And I was like, did I mess all of these up? Because I see Patty's is in there. Like, what did I miss? Oh, that makes more sense then.
That's a common mistake for new judges, by the way, Patty. So don't
really.
Yeah,
well, so lesson.
Good lesson.
Been there, done that.
Good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
How will it be? How will the advanced group? How will that be presented by? Is it all? Are you guys going to get written feedback that you're then going to read out loud, or
they will critique? What did I say? 30 images. So if we have more than 30 images in the advanced group, they won't all get critiqued. They might use a different scoring system. I'll have to talk with them. I mean, I think their usual is to do like a 5 or 7 point scoring system, but the reason that we've been using a 100 point system is just to space them out more so we don't have as many ties. Now, that being said, and it's probably a discussion for another time, but there are different ways to make awards. And if anybody wants to participate in, you know, a discussion about that, I'll be happy to set it up. One thing I did want to say is that a number of you responded in the affirmative in interest in participating in PSA interclub competition. Thank you for that. The first one of the next cycle is going to be October, which gives us plenty of lead time to, get our ducks in a row for that. We're gonna have to decide which categories we want to compete in and how many people are going to, participate. So I don't know. I think we'll probably start off in a limited fashion just to make, to get it right. But if any of you didn't respond to me that you're interested, but are, just let me know. And, I'm going to get some warnings out about this in the near future so we can start collecting images. And does anybody have any feelings about how they would like us to pick those images? We get to put in 6 pictures by 6 different photographers in up to 6 or 7 categories. So do we want to do that by people's choice? Do we want to do it with internal judges? You guys will have to think about that and let me know, because I'm open-minded about how we should do it. I think there are reasons to do it.
Well, as it's not a competition for our club specific or intra-club, and that it represents all of our club, maybe some kind of club rating system, ranking could choose the pictures that go to the PSA competition.
Well, I think that's, everybody should think about that. Your input is very welcome. Matter of fact, it's necessary because it's a decision I would like everybody to be happy with the way we do these things. So
Josh has an idea about that.
Well, yeah, I think kind of like what we're doing with the art shows, where either internal judging or some panel of judges, whether it's internal, external, I don't know that it matters a ton, but just having that same submission process. If y'all haven't figured out that we're going to be like doing clubs and print shows a lot, like, I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but, and so having those same kind of submission processes, I think the more standard that we can make them, the easier it is on all of us to do, instead of having to reinvent the wheel every time. I'd also like to say shout out to Mark. He has to listen to me and the rest of the leadership team. We talk about competitions and the best way to do them and the best way to judge them. I bet it's 80% of what we talk about. Would you say? Other leadership, is that it sounds about right?
It has been lately.
It has. I mean, we've been talking about it for like
Sounds about right to me.
Literally for 15 months, we've been working on trying to put things in place to make it the best experience we can for everybody. And so whenever y'all have feedback, trust me, I hear y'all, and I bring it up. So if y'all have feedback that you don't want to voice out loud, here's my cell phone, text me, and we will add it to our next leadership meeting, because we talk about it a lot and we want to make it the best we can. There's my cell phone.
It's a living, breathing process, and it's not, etched in stone. Our goal is to make the membership happy.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was to make me happy.
Well, is that possible?
Yeah, I'm happy a lot.
No, it is hard balancing the needs of everyone, right? Because we all want different things. So how do we balance all of those wants? But we are certainly listening to feedback. We're certainly open to ideas. We're also a member-run club. So thank you to Patty and Haytham for judging for the first time here. And we're going to be working on, training up people to be better judges. But I think the upshot of all of that is, and I think after this month, Patty and Haytham would agree, as you go through this process of judging and learning how to judge, I think it makes you a more conscientious photographer. Yes?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree about that.
Yeah. So if you want to be a better photographer, which I think is all of you, you should also be interested in learning how to judge and some of the information that Mark's been putting out about the critique process, so that you can be a better judge, so that you can be a better photographer, so that you can win these competitions. It all comes
Question about the competition.
Yeah.
if the PSA is only judging the advanced, do the other categories have to have their pictures turned in by the 16th?
I knew somebody would ask that.
That's a Mark question. I don't know.
It depends. I've got to look at the software rules and see if it will let me do that. I don't think I can give access to the PSA judge without a closing date.
Yeah.
So if I leave the date now,
the advanced out of the
yeah, we could have
the
two
overall
yeah, I could have a separate
competition.
competition for advanced. Yeah. Okay.
Then you
Thanks for that.
do different dates.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll have two competitions, and we'll have the advanced close early, and we'll let the other one close at the usual time. And I'm also looking for 3 judges to judge the intermediate and basic categories for next month. So if you haven't done it in a long time, or if you're an advanced class photographer that's never done it, talk to me.
Mark, your job is labor intensive. Is separating the competitions going to add more to your time and effort?
No, this really is not going to change much for me. I mean, on the scale of things, it's going to be a matter of, 10 minutes or something like that. Maybe not the first time, but after that shouldn't be any big deal.
Okay, just thought I'd check with you on that.
No, thank you.
And I'd also like to throw out, if y'all weren't at the last meeting, my challenge to everyone, which is going to be really tough with a shorter, is 30 days from submission time, shoot. So, right, submit something within the shot in the last 30 days of submission, because that way it'll give you some kind of goal during this global pandemic to go out and pick up your camera instead of the creeping sadness.
Now everybody's going to race to Johnson City for that building.
I know. or find or go try to chase down that green heron.
I'm in, Josh. That's 1 down and 10 to go for this year, right?
Yeah. 2 down, right? No, 2.
Oh, 2 down, yeah, but you issued that challenge last month.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
9 to go.
There you go. Awesome.
Dave, it's always easy for you to enter something in the last 30 days because you're out there 2, 3 times, 4 times a week.
Not lately.
No,
Not lately.
Dave.
Oh, Dave. Yeah, Dave, get out and do it.
About
Yeah.
7 times a week.
Dave's out 7 times. Yeah, 7 days.
7 times a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patty, you've been out about 5 times in the last 7 days.
I know I've been good lately. But the more I shoot, the more I want to shoot. So
Yeah, I think that's probably true for everybody.
Yeah.
it makes me happy. See, I get happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be back there, but quarantine kids is bad. So,
Back
I went out shooting with Patty on Tuesday, and I've been back to the same place each day since then. So
I like
still
to
trying to
see
get it right.
Cameras right there.
I want to see a picture of somebody vaccinating me. That's what I want.
Oh, I got the nose swab today. That was fun.
Oh.
Yeah. I have a corporate client that's going to require 2 negative tests before I can show up on site.
Oh. Well.
Is it the rapid test or the 3-day?
I don't know. I showed up and they jabbed a swab up my nose, whatever that one is.
Thankfully, it wasn't the new one they're doing.
Yeah, up
Have you
the
heard
butt.
about that?
Yeah.
The anal swab.
No, seriously, that's what it is. In China, they've already done
I'm
like
not
100,000.
kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. I'm with you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
How big is that swab?
Do we really want to know?
I think your friend Google can tell you that. Yeah.
There's
so-
a funny picture of
So you've got
somebody going through a drive-through to get that done. Did you see that?
No.
No.
And I don't want to.
Out the
Stick
window.
your butt out the window.
And then it got weird.
So then you got the total recall, get your butt to Mars test, and then you got the one where you wish your butt was on Mars.
Ooh.
Makes me wish I had 3 hands.
I did get the good news from my mother that she has gotten both shots.
Nice. Yay.
Wow.
What
That's
state does she live in?
Well, she
Yeah.
lives in San Antonio, so
wow.
but,
Yeah,
but
I
she
heard.
but one of her neighbors gave her the clue was that was at a particular site was okay, show up at the end of the day and and they have leftovers, they'll shoot you, and they'll go ahead and shoot you because they got leftovers. And then she told them she was 90 and they were like, gosh, it's gold, because she brought their numbers up.
Yeah, for the mine in San
My
Antonio.
mom got the first
Oh,
one
gosh.
today. She's 78.
My mom did too.
Is there any word about the church opening up yet?
No, not at all.
Okay.
We're still in stage 4. Like it's until we're down to like 2 or
I thought we were stage 5.
Yeah, I
no, they
thought we
just dropped this week to 4.
Oh, okay.
But no. And Williamson County is going up. So
Well, yeah,
depending on which
we got all these Super Bowl parties are gonna send us back up to 5, dude.
yeah, I mean, Williamson County is going up. Travis County's numbers are coming down. So depending on where you live, it's better or worse.
Church in Williamson County, because that area over there.
No, it's Travis.
A
It's
little
Travis.
beach, yeah.
It's Travis. I'm guessing the church won't be open this year. I don't know that. That's my guess. I could be wrong. I'm happy to go meet in the parking lot. I have a projector. We can throw it up in the parking lot.
I will let you know when the church is leaning that way.
Yeah,
Do we have to pay rent for that?
for what? The parking lot?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a projector. I have a portrait backdrop. I can put like a 6 by 8 foot screen.
A drive-in movie theater.
We did that for one of my kids' birthdays. We did a driveway drive-in movie.
That was
So
great.
we had sleeping bags and cots all in the driveway. Everybody wore masks in the front yard, and we watched the movie. I mean, we only had 10 people, but still.
I got a 5x7 pop-up, so that'd be easy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. It's kind of nice seeing some of y'all's faces small, but I'd be happy to see them big again.
Sounds good.
So yeah, again, we're a club run, we're a member run club. So if you have ideas, throw them at me. We'll make something happen. Yeah. Anybody? Anything else?
Hey.
Otherwise, I got beer to drink.
Good night.
Josh, what's going on? Josh.
Who? What? Who?
Hello.
Oh, hey, Dennis. What's up?
What's going on with the firmware update at Precision this weekend? You have any idea how much limits they're putting on what you can bring?
No idea. I saw they're doing it. That's as much as I do.
Okay.
I wanted to just drop in and let you guys know I hadn't forgot about you. I actually have a class on Thursday evening, so it ended early.
Okay.
So I haven't
Cool.
forgot about you guys.
All right.
Anyway.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks. We'll talk on Luminar.
Good night.
All right.
Thanks.
Later.